This is the district court, Hennepin County Government Center. I kind of make videos here. Every now and then, you're not supposed to record going into the courthouse. No, I don't think you're on my video. I didn't want your face. A lot of times I do the floor, the flag. I point it at the ground. Although when they bring the news cameras in here and people are going back and forth and we're on the news, sometimes people want to be on the news, sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter at that point if our rights are adhered to or not. But this is one of the bodies of politics where I try to adhere to the law. And as I tried to adhere to the law under policy and procedure, where I felt like I had rights. First, the Fourth Amendment, to be safe and secure in my name, in my address and social security number when it came to this place. People have the opportunity to be hired and fired, come and go, and have access to this personal information where, in theory, they would have to show under the law why they needed access to someone's personal information. The census, where we count ourselves for services and supports, where like the Department of Human Services, is structured, which again, for my state, my city, you can go and apply for to see if there are services and supports that you're going to qualify for. But it starts with the application at the Department of Human Services. And we're going to now leave the district court right here, because I had a meltdown today based on what I consider to be the violation of my rights, where I thought an illegal case study, Freya, was done. And I told you, Freya, that there was a group of district attorneys that was hired in this particular building that I felt through Ms. Segal and Sarah McLaren under Keith Ellison, Barack Obama. Joe Biden, as his secondary at that time, was through Keith Ellison, Amy Klobuchar, violating my rights, where my name, my social security number, and my address was now being affected at the Minneapolis level, which my first complaint listed Minneapolis, city of state, Minnesota, as being a body politic. The city of Minneapolis, a body politic. And when I researched that, I thought that meant that their Minnesota Constitution applied specific to the city of Minneapolis, where we're going to walk now, hopefully, to the federal court building. I'm going to show you, because under federal law, the extension of that is that you cannot discriminate against people specific to their name, their address, and their social security number, where you can link information like their job, their marital status, their religious beliefs to any of the things that you can imply denies them access to supports and services. I was told, and be clear, I don't have a lot of money. So when I took on the United States government, I should have thought about the services and supports specific to the taxpayer fund, where they could hire an attorney to disrupt my life because they're having an emotional breakdown because I beat them without a licensure under the law. In the state of Minnesota, you have to go through the bar licensure to be a bar licensed attorney. I keep trying to go to the college, but every time I get there, I just think about all the cases I've already won just using my own services and support, which is the computer I buy, where I was paying my Comcast Xfinity bill, where I had bought my computer from Get It Now Home Choice, where they were going through this litigation, and I paid off my bill, which made the computer at that time, my bed at that time, as well as some other items I brought mine, because I paid them off, right? Since I bought this computer, then I bought a printer, and I was going to the store and buying fans for my printer. I was buying ink for my printer. I'm thinking I'm paying for my own services, which is the access to my internet, which is making my things work, where I paid the electricity bill, right? When I paid the electricity bill before it was assigned under my rent, and I had this bill, I had this agreement with the electric company that I was paying the bill, so the electricity was mine, where I plugged these things into a wall where I paid rent. The rent was structured based on my income. You can only count so much of my income because some of it was unearned income because I was going through Social Security court, right? I went through Social Security court, then I went through appeals court. Then the Office of Adjudication said, Sharon, get rid of the second application, and you won. You're legally disabled under the law. Even if you don't have surgery, you are disabled under the law, and no doctor can make you have surgery unless it's a need where we can see your arm hanging, bones gushing. It's, up for debate. If you can communicate about your health and well-being, we're going to make you do something. These are rights that you have, and if you're lucky, you get good doctors like Norberg. I thought Manuel Pinto, right? Dr. Roram. I thought certain people in my life, Len Ogawa then, was giving me information that pertained to the lifestyle I led, where again, I'm learning. I like to learn. So now as I'm learning these things, as we get to, we're in the city building, by the way. I think this is the original courthouse, or the original jail, where if you're one of the Minnesotans like me, you're going to know that this was the first building. The second one over there was built, right? Because they said this one was historically not efficient for the technology and things that they needed to add. Although we have it. We're not going to talk about that. But we have it. There's still a jail in here. They do use that jail at times. But they have another jail that they use. So I went to the federal courthouse after I left the district court, right? And as I went to as I left district court and I challenged the federal court, I thought I won there. And as I thought I won there, I thought Paul Thiessen and Alan Page started to attack me in St. Paul. And as I was going to the higher ups, as I call them, I'm learning that I think I'm an attorney. I should be in college, but the cases that I've now brought against the state has put me in a position where Dennis Maurer said, think about it. So on 2/21/2019, I said, as I went there and I tried to get Sarah McLaren, whose boss was Miss Segal, I thought Joshua R. Williams violated my rights. I filed a bar complaint because I thought Amy Jane Getz and Joshua R. Williams violated my rights. So I filed a bar complaint. And they said, well, Sharon, you can't prove they discriminated against you. I said, what do you mean I can't prove that? They said, Sharon, they did this, they did that. They said, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. So then I got attacked by the police department. I said, Josh, they retaliated. Under Human Rights 365A, I have a right to be safe and secure and file complaints without being retaliated against. And you, as my motherfucking attorney, son of a bitch, are obligated to protect me and my family. He said, you smoked weed. I ain't got to do shit, bitch. What I did do was take $19,588 from a deal Judge Boylan did and then retired. Because I made him, because I knew that he was discriminating against people. So he can either settle it my way or he's going to settle it your way. And if he settles it your way, then Sharon, I'm going after his licensure. So he retired. And then he didn't help Sharon, that Judge Boylan in that courthouse. What he did do was let Joshua R. Williams, instead of filing the lawsuit that was due me, under the police ideology, I was beat up and attacked. My weed had nothing to do with it, you son of a bitch, because the evidence showed. The motherfucking cops said through deposition that another motherfucking attorney got, by the way. This nigga just took my money, right? I should have got $250,000. So as I was being put out of my home, I could have, again, maybe paid them off. Maybe, if I owed them. Because I did want to go move into a home with my belongings that I paid that motherfucking U-Haul bill on, right? I was even sleeping in that U-Haul, right, Josh? I thought Josh sat in that motherfucking room and I looked at that roof all day. I thought I looked at that roof from 8 to 12. I wouldn't have had a lunch until 1, and then I came back. And he said, you're getting $25,000, and the motherfucker took $19,588 of that And Judge Boylan knew he did an illegal deal at that point. He then went behind himself, him and Amy Jane Getz, got a lot of illegal signatures simply because I smoked weed. It's a level 2 narcotic. They never said what level 2 narcotic I did. What they did do was use the records from Dr. Gordon. And the illegal records from Dr. Gordon said that I got a motherfucking Oxycontin prescription. So what they did was took 20 teeth. Right, Josh? And I said, that's that discrimination, right? Because I wasn't a drug addict. You didn't have the right to take 20 teeth from me, Josh. Huh? What 5? Month of May? So March, any case I did with the Department of Human Services, any deal I did through you, as, again, the police kicked my ass. Remember now, I said it was under Josh. And he knew he discriminated. He knew he intimidated. And then he retaliated. And under the ideology, I contacted the Human Rights Department. I filed a civil rights complaint, and then what they did was put me out, make me homeless. I said they stole my motherfucking name, my address, my social security number. My daughter, Shayla Cooper, is dead, right? That day I filed that complaint, 221. They said, bitch, you're crazy. I said, okay, whatever. On 224, Shayla died, right? She was in a rental car from Hertz Rental. As Krisha and Linnell got married, February, my motherfucking daughter died a couple months later, right, Bobby? Huh? I'm just asking, Mike Cooper. Huh? 212, 214, Krisha and Linnell got married. I said, was that an emergency contact, Mike Cooper? Was you trying to say I was on drugs, Mike Cooper? Huh? I said, did you kill your motherfucking daughter? Have your son locked up? Lie, you son of a bitch? I remember going through these doors on 8/12. They let me out on 8/15. They had me in court 8/16. We going there next. That's that motherfucking Department of Human Services where Bobby Joe was walking around feverishly, right? Back and forth. Got that juvenile diversion. Huh? Where again, Kim, did he put my son in Harrison because he needed to be there? Because Michael Cooper Sr. was fucking some bitch? Didn't want to beat his son? Did you think again, my son what? Because I'm trying to understand, you know, his 8th grade year. Let's go back. I'm trying to understand 8th grade, where Karen Olsen was a 4th grade representative from Karen Wells, where I beat Karen Wells. Karen Wells said, bitch, you got to go. She didn't do her research. Shayla was still there. I showed how she was discriminatory, retaliatory. She wanted to separate the girls and the boys. It had nothing to do with the behaviors. She just didn't like little black boys. Miss Karen Wells didn't want to teach them shit under the ideology she didn't want a boy baby. I thought Karen Wells only wanted a girl baby. So under the ideology, the bitch only maybe had boys. I don't know. I just thought she hated black men. And I thought as Karen Wells hated black men, she targeted my son. And she illegally lied for Keith and Kim Ellison. Under the ideology, Louis Farrakhan, that boys need to be treated, taught and treated differently from their mama. Because they might go home and tell their mama they were at some bitch's house where a bitch like Robin seems to think they could call, your kids out, beat their ass, and say, you gonna call me mama, because that's what your daddy said. Now, I don't know what kind of home you motherfucking come from, bitch. But if that's the shit you're covering up, when, again, you take my motherfucking son, don't take my motherfucking son nowhere, son of a bitch. Leave my son at home with me. Because, hell yeah, he needs to tell me you're taking him to a motherfucking house where ain't no boys, it's little girls. He don't want to be there. He don't want to play. He wants to go home. He wants to call his mama, and you're abusing him. Right? I'm just saying. Nigga! I'm having a moment. So Bobby Joe Champion, as I think about my son right now, telling his mama, did you beat that out of him, bitch? Did you beat that shit out of my motherfucking son? Quit telling your mama, huh? Because when Michael Cooper Sr. took my son to some bitch's house and said, bitch, call my kids yours, huh? When he said that it was too important to save his $20 because the bitch was pregnant, he should have quit fucking Michael's mama. And he should have paid his child support. He should have paid his child support on time. Right? Any motherfucking overtime should have went for that. Why? Because the motherfucker didn't work in the summer. Correct? And he always told me to borrow it from his mama. Right? He wasn't working in the summer. He's laying up at my house. Right? I'm the dummy? No, I'm not the dummy. Like some girls are just in love. And they're blinded. And at some point I was no longer blinded. Right? And I said, I'm in it for the kids. My kids don't deserve a stepdaddy who might be like Keith Ellison, Louis Farrakhan, Michael Favors. I hope not Linnell. But you know, under the theory you can buy a $1,500 pair of boots and you can drop your kids off anywhere and they can be beat, abused, because you got a pair of $1,500 boots and a $2,000 purse, and you think that's the life, you should have kept your motherfucking legs closed and not had motherfucking kids by another motherfucker. That's all I'm saying. I don't care if he's paying the rent or not, right? Because see, children are asked to be brought here. They might want to be with their daddy, right? So like me, when I wanted to be with my daddy and he said, no, you're too much like me, you can't live with me, that spoke volumes when he put me with his bitch-ass stepwife. What, Pat Baker? How you call my mama up? You lie, bitch? Because I never called you mama either, did I? No. Did you ever have that conversation with me? Me, you, and God. Did you ever have the conversation where my motherfucking mama said, I called you mom and she beat my ass for it, bitch? And I never called you mom? You want to talk about that? Huh? Because see, that's that ideology again. You and my dad sitting around. Shit wasn't funny. I thought, again, him saying, you're my sister, Pat Baker, your mom, it showed his fucked up mentality on alcohol. So I had a problem with people who would drink. And again, I didn't smoke crack. I wasn't selling crack. Although I did deal with crack dealers. And they were cheaters. And Michael didn't come off as a cheater. But then he was a cheater. Then he said, I love you so many times, it just drummed it in my head. And by then I had my kids, and I loved my kids. My phone gonna die, Michael? Andrea? Bobby? I'm asking the Department of Human Services under Tanya Bransford now. In Tanya Bransford's court, I class acted. Why? Because I said I adopted Keenan out the kindness of my motherfucking heart. It wasn't out no pity that you gave me that boy, right? At that time, I wasn't suing for violation of anything for Keenan, right? I said that in my mind, I took a pay cut adopting him. I adopted that little boy out of love. Why? Because I could have made more money keeping him in the system. And they offered me that. And I said, no. If you're going to offer me an adoption of my child Keenan, then I'm just going to adopt him. And I'm going to take that pay cut. And I'm going to keep it pushing. Don't worry about me. Right? Don't worry about me. And I adopted him in 2010, correct? Huh? Took that pay cut. I don't even think I got placements after that, Sue Masick. Did you get the message? You want to settle with me? You want to give me like a whole lot of money? Huh? Because, Sue, you might have had to retire had I kept my, foster care license. Remember this place? I got beat up in this motherfucker on 1/25/2018. Shayla died 2/24. Calculate that shit. How many months in between there? Huh? Because some Somalian man said Shayla can't come in his office with all the paperwork. The white man said she needed that. Somalian said you're $1 over. Did him and Ilhan Omar steal daycare funds out of here? That ain't treason. That ain't tax evasion. That ain't misappropriation of motherfucking funds. I'm asking. Huh? Because I got beat up. Shayla was denied $1. They said she was $1 over. She wasn't getting daycare. Huh? Are you saying I can't do daycare now? Did you let Bobby Joe Champion, ruin my record? I'm waiting to hear. Because I came here, and if I'm not mistaken, I asked for a copy of my records. I gotta pee. I don't know if Freya waiting. Yep, I don't know if Freya's in the building. I don't know if Freya Waiting's working today. Is Freya working? She was in the court with me and Karen Mora. I didn't speak to Freya, but she had nice, pretty spring colors on. It was like some cosmetologist designed Freya's whole outfit that day. And as that cosmetologist designed her outfit, she had a nice color palette. I thought it was awesome. At that moment, she wasn't in the other look she had. She had this highlight type of deal going on when I first met her. And then when I see her again, she said she had just went back to Russia, Germany or somewhere. And then as she went back to Russia or Germany somewhere, she came back with this very distinct look. She was now like her natural color. She had a whole totally different demeanor. And I thought of Putin from Germany and Russia with Donald Trump, where, using me as a comparison, she said, well, Sharon, don't be mad that you didn't get to go to the University of Minnesota because they didn't accept me either. And at the time I thought, well, I guess you could say that because I never heard back from them. I'm not going to say they didn't accept me. I'm going to just say I never heard back from them. And at the time I was thinking, I didn't know if I wanted to go there. I was going to apply because I was thinking, at the time somebody was saying, again, Sharon, you can't get in. And I didn't understand the difference between community college versus just enrolling in, let's say, the university. And then I went back to Jim Long and I thought, well, when Jim asked me that I want to go to college and we did that video, back then you had to have an application put together to be accepted at some of the prestigious schools, but not so much the community schools. The community schools didn't put you through the criteria that the private colleges put you through, which is the Yales, the Stanfords, the Morehouse, the Spelmans. And as you're applying to them, they have this very strict criteria. We're like them 64 credits that Kim Ellison. So under Kim Ellison, anybody under Lucretia's graduating year could be tested. And they should be able to retain the information based on a case study from 2013-14, where she would be able to test into a Yale, a Stanford, or a Morehouse, where under just the teachings of the 64 credits from Edison, she would retain the information. Just like me, I use me as an example because I tested into the basic colleges, and I go back to Jim Long said, Sharon, you got to work on your writing. And for me at that time, it was just that we didn't write that much. And you had to write way more going into, what do you call that? You had to write way more going into colleges like that. And I was only writing, like I said, 1-2 pages based on the demand of Jim. Because by then I had already got a basic education under the theory of homeschool if you went back to when the Minnesota Department of Education was first created. And when I researched it, I thought, well, shit, that's kind of how I graduated my kids, right? Because in 8th grade, 6th grade, my kids started testing. And they had to meet a certain standard 6th and 8th grade. And then when my kids met that standard 6th and 8th grade, little Michael, they stopped testing altogether. And then Shayla, they said she passed writing, but she didn't pass she passed writing, but she didn't pass reading, and she passed math. And my argument at the time was, how can you pass writing without passing reading? And Allie said, Sharon, make him get a 504 plan. So I did, and as I'm doing that, I'm still suing for little Michael. And as I'm suing for little Michael, I'm thinking, fuck that, we're leaving district number 1. They're discriminating. I found out that they were under the Office of Civil Rights placed into a contract where they volunteered not to discriminate. They continued to not only discriminate against me, they retaliated, and then I complained about that, and then they took my rights to protections through any media or application using friends and family of the courthouse, where Keith Ellison, Kim Ellison, Bobby Joe Champion, Ilhan Omar are now at, and we're going to end it here. Because this is where I class acted with Tanya Bransford. I class acted with Tanya Bransford on 3/15, and then 3/16. We were on COVID lockdown. That was under Donald Trump. Black Lives Matter. And he said he wasn't dealing with discrimination. I thought that was me. I thought that he decided that he wasn't going to deal with me, but he did make a deal with Keith and Kim, and then Donald Trump got a lot of money. And then I thought Donald Trump using a Kanye West theory with the adobo. If you vote for Donald Trump under the adobo type, did you ever watch Kanye? They said Kanye was now a preacher and that he built this commune. And as he built this commune, he developed these followers who were now going out basically panhandling, like the old Rakshan, what was it? I don't know, they started with an R. But years ago, these people would panhandle, and they would have on these type of religious garments. And as they panhandled, that was how they lived off of, they just didn't work for the white man. They just panhandled all day, this religious group of people, and then they went and prayed and shit. So I thought these people was now implementing that type of religion as well. We were like under this weird-ass religious study here in the state of Minnesota. I thought that through these bodies of politics, the state of Minnesota, under an illegal grant, was now violating the rights of many people to be safe, secure in their name, their address. Again, because right now I think I should have an address. I think I should own a home because I got that $250,000 from Josh. I could have bought a home in the state of Minnesota. I would have my adopted son. He would have never been put on anything that wasn't, again, necessary. We would have never used Michael Cooper Sr., Vernay Baker. We would have never used Lucretia Ante Martin at that time as any witnesses without talking to me. So when I submitted that motherfucking case, and I said that these are the people that said I should get Keenan back, they should have had to hold a case where they put these people in court before me and said, no, Sharon, we think that Keenan should be taken. Because if we looked at Krisha, let's look at Krisha. We're going to go over this, Romel, one time, right? One time, Romel. I was at some appointment and Krisha got to my house first, right? And as Krisha got to my house first, she did like she always did. She went, she got on my computer. She was checking whatever her social media and shit was. And as she's doing that, Maceo, Marisha, Keenan are in the front room with Shayla watching my TV. And as they're in the front room watching TV, Shayla said that Maceo Jr. took a toy from Keenan. And as Maceo Jr. took a toy from Keenan, and Marisha could have been coming from Head Start at that time. Mama didn't even have to be there. I'm not quite sure because Shayla's not here. We would have to have Shayla to discuss who was in the house, but what I can say is that Maceo, Shayla said, took the toy from Keenan. And as Maceo took the toy from Keenan and was holding it over Keenan's head because he was slightly bigger, which made his arm reach going up higher, Keenan wanted the toy back, started screaming and hollering, which brought the attention to the kids. Shayla said as they're looking at Maceo take the toy from Keenan, Michael takes the toy from Maceo. And now Michael takes the toy from Maceo, and him and Shayla are playing pickle in the middle with both kids. That's what Shayla said. We're throwing it over everybody. Shayla said everybody's crying. She said as everybody's crying, Krisha jumps up and comes in there, but Maceo shouldn't be crying is the way Shayla said it. They were supposed to stop and give the toy back to Maceo. And Shayla said, no, he wasn't getting it. They didn't care what Maceo told Krisha about him having a toy, and Shayla and Michael took it from him because they're saying you took it from Keenan. Krisha's not trying to hear that, according to Shayla. Shayla said Krisha's not trying to hear how Maceo took the toy from Keenan, so they're not listening to Krisha. Now, Krisha's screaming and hollering at Michael because Michael was the one with the toy in his hand. So since Michael had the toy in his hand, Shayla said, Krisha starts going off on my son. And my son, being my son, was like, fuck it, he ain't giving the toy back. He didn't give a fuck. And now Krisha's following him around the house, screaming and hollering at him. Shayla said that Michael got mad. And as Michael got mad, he went upstairs. And as Michael got mad and went upstairs, Krisha followed him upstairs. They said that Krisha was pointing the finger, because Shayla said she ran upstairs too, because they're arguing upstairs now. She said that as she ran upstairs, Krisha was pointing that finger at Michael, screaming and hollering, again, because she's going to have her brothers kick his ass. He don't disrespect her. And Shayla's like, he didn't do anything besides scream and holler at her that she's not getting the toy back. And that was always her favorite line. She'll get her brothers. With that being said, Shayla now and Krisha are upstairs with Michael. Michael hits the wall, right? My son hits the wall. Krisha gets mad. She goes downstairs. She gets the kids. She leaves. She calls me. As she's calling me, Shayla's calling me. So now I get both stories, right? I hear Krisha's version. I hear my daughter's version. And I said, well, Krisha, I wasn't there. You hadn't even talked to me that day. I know you always smoke weed, but you didn't have to, chase my son around the house screaming and hollering. Shayla said that Maceo took the toy from Keenan and they was playing pickle in the middle with both kids. She said, no. They took it from Maceo. I said, I'm not even going to argue with you. Next time that I'm not there, You don't wait for me. Don't come in my house screaming and hollering at my kids when, again, you were on the computer. You don't know what happened. And the kids said they didn't just take it from one kid. They took it from both kids. They was playing with both kids, pick one in the middle, because they were doing the right thing, right? If you're going to be a bully, I'm going to be a bully. Everybody a bully. And you don't get to just go in there and scream and holler at Michael like you're his mama and demand that my motherfucking son give back the toy to Maceo, who, again, took it from Keenan. And it's Keenan's motherfucking toy at that. Don't play with me. Like, I was irritated. And then me and her fell out. Like, again, every now and then she had this way about herself where she thought she was better than. And as she thought she was better than, you know, she had to challenge me. And she didn't always win that better than fight, right? Because, again, when she was buying that house, her and Marvin Easter, and he paid 80% of the bills, and she only paid some of the bills, he was slinging in the hood. He was slinging in the hood. I said I had a conscience, you know, even though I was slanging a little bit, I felt the type of way. Why you talking about your mama this, your mama that? You can't talk about your mama this, your mama that, and then be selling that shit to other people's mama. You a hypocrite. That's just my theory. So I wasn't really doing all that, right? And those pills, again, that was what it was. I wasn't selling crack to my mama, and I wasn't selling the pills to my mama. I don't give a fuck. That's something totally different. I can distance myself from that emotion, right? That's what I could do.